Hey, it's Liz from Thrice. It's Web3 Wednesday. Last week, I was in El Salvador doing some work for a nonprofit I've been involved with for about 20 years called the Business Council for Peace, bpeace.org, if you want to check it out. And essentially, we match up consultants with high potential companies with the idea that if we can create more jobs in places like El Salvador, Afghanistan, Guatemala, Rwanda, that crime will go down, people will have more opportunity, make the world a better place. That's kind of the general idea behind BP's. But I was down there evaluating their travel and tourism industry and also looking a little bit at this thing called digital nomads. So, a digital nomad is somebody who can work from wherever they want, completely decentralized work. And during the pandemic, the idea of being a digital nomad really took off. In 2022, 17 million US citizens would call themselves digital nomads. About 60% male, nearly half of them millennials, but a good 23% in the Gen X generation, so good on us. And they went to places like Portugal or Costa Rica or Bali, where they could live in these amazing, wonderful places that are a lot less expensive than the US and still be able to work generally for tech companies, and kind of get away from their regular everyday life. And this idea of being a digital nomad is something that I think we're going to see more of as the years go on. So El Salvador is thinking about how can they make their country attractive. And I would say they're kind of maybe 20 years behind what Costa Rica is today, which is quite developed for travel and tourism and the like. And their current president is really all in on crypto. And he's thinking about pursuing people for travel and tourism, but also trying to attract digital nomads. And in 2021, El Salvador became the first country in the world to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender. And they talked about creating something called Bitcoin City. There's many volcanoes in El Salvador, and they were going to build Bitcoin City at the base of a volcano that's still active, generates a lot of energy, basically to power all these proof of work transactions that Bitcoin requires. That really hasn't happened, but there has been a commitment to Bitcoin. And in 2023, very recently, the country approved a law to regulate the issuance of other digital assets. And the state can do that, or private entities can make these issues of various tokens. However, anything that's not Bitcoin is considered a security, and only Bitcoin is considered a currency. So it really has quite a strong advantage. And the idea is that they want to get more foreign direct investment into El Salvador. And they started talking about something called volcano bonds, again, because they were going to make this sort of powered by the volcano. So I went down there, and I have to say, the beaches are amazing. Black sand, incredible waves for surfers. But no one is using Bitcoin, or really, I asked a bunch of people, hey, is anyone using Bitcoin? And they were looking at me like I had three heads. Digital nomads who are interested in going to El Salvador, I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. There's a very low cost of living. The roads are well paved. There's 5G internet. Mobile phone penetration is super high, and they use US dollars. You don't have to exchange currency. You can plug in your laptop without an adapter. It's a really easy place to go. Even the airport is new and welcoming and inviting. So yeah, I would go there if I could, work from anywhere. This might be a place I would put on the list. There are Bitcoin signs everywhere. There are Bitcoin ATMs and the like. Even at the airport, the Wendy's had a, hey, pay with Bitcoin. I didn't see anyone using this. The U.S. State Department lists El Salvador as a level 3 out of 4, kind of reconsider your travel because of crime and gangs. I didn't see any of this. Now, granted, I did not go to the capital city of El Salvador. I kind of got to the airport and headed straight for the beaches. And El Salvador is the most densely populated country in Central America, and the capital, San Salvador, I think I might have said El Salvador earlier, the capital, San Salvador, is sort of known for having crime and gangs. Honestly, I didn't see any of that in these outlying areas. The people were beyond friendly. I don't think I ran into anyone even in a bad mood in El Salvador, and the surfing is awesome. So I would say if you're thinking about checking out a place, even for a month or a couple of weeks, to work from and become a digital nomad, I'd put El Salvador high on the list. And whether you use Bitcoin, well, sort of that's up to you, but they do accept it everywhere. So, go ahead and give it a shot. That's it for this week's Web3 Wednesday, and we'll see you next week, probably back from the United States. Take care.